On the show tonight, Chris Hemsworth is here. Yeah, he's the star of the new whaling movie, In the Heart of the Sea. Oh, wait a minute. There she blows! Let's start the show! Great show tonight, as well as Chris. It's the first time appearances from comic Kevin Bridges, director Ron Howard, and the comedy legend that is Lily Tomlin. So excited, yes. And we'll be getting in the Christmas mood with music from Blake and Dame Shirley Bassey. Yeah? Your actual Dame Shirley will be over there and there. She will. No, seriously, it's Christmassy. Now, of course, Chris and Ron are here with the new film, In the Heart of the Sea, where Chris plays a fearless whale hunter. The story takes place on a ship called the Essex and was the original inspiration for the novel Moby Dick. Though, funny enough, if you Google the words Essex and Dick, this is what you get. Try it. That is what happens. It is a very exciting story. No, it really is a very exciting story. The whale sinks the ship and leaves the crew marooned in a lifeboat. Yes, to survive, they resort to cannibalism. Awful. Here's that lifeboat 3 weeks later. Couldn't even the sailor. Let's get the guests on. First off, at the age of only 29, this Glaswegian comedian has had a remarkable rise to success and last year sold more tickets than any other comic in the UK. Please welcome Kevin Bridges. To become one of the world's most successful directors, making Splash, Parenthood, Apollo 13, The Grinch, and A Beautiful Mind. Now he brings us In the Heart of the Sea. It's the Oscar-winning Ron Howard! That's Ron Howard! Hello! Lovely to see you. Have a seat. And this Australian heartthrob exploded onto the big screen as Thor and has gone on to incredible success with The Avengers, The Huntsman, and the James Hunt biopic Rush. It is the fabulous Chris Hemsworth, everybody! Is one of America's greatest comedy talents. She's the star of Nashville, 9 to 5, All of Me, 7 Emmys, 2 Tonys, and a Grammy to her name. She's now Oscar-tipped for her new movie, Grandma. It is a huge pleasure to welcome the one and only Lily Tomlin, everybody! You guys, did you all meet backstage? Was there kind of showbiz mingling behind a curtain?
A quick mingle.
Okay.
A little bit, yeah.
Well, we got a lot done.
Okay.
Couple of projects lined up.
Yeah, lovely. No, because Ron and have you never worked together, Ron and Lily?
We've never worked together. I met one time because I went to see a one-woman show that Lily did many years ago. I don't remember the name of the show, but in it was this, you took this picture and you were playing this character. They went, soup, art, soup. What was the name of the show?
The Search for Signs of Intelligent Life.
Oh. You should really get in one of his films.
Oh, I'm going to be in his next one.
They do well. Ron Howard, do you know off the top of your head how much money your films have made?
Well, I actually don't.
Well, I can tell you. Ron Howard, this is incredible. Ron Howard's films have made, so far, $3.5 billion.
Sounds like I need a conversation with my lawyer and...
You should start your own country or something, because that's a lot of money. And Kevin, I was saying in the introduction, I mean, your success is extraordinary now, you know.
I'm sitting beside the guy that's pulled in $3.5 billion. My success has been all right.
Sorry to bring you down. You walked down here high as a kite, and now it's like, oh. But you must get stopped in the streets and stuff like that now.
Aye, usually by people collecting for charity. I've asked to sign 25 copies, 25 pirate copies of my own DVD. takes balls, man. Of course, I signed them. Yeah.
Of course you do. Now, Lily, can you understand anything
Not
Kevin
much.
said? No.
I got something about balls at the end. Is that what he said?
Yeah, he said balls. Yeah, he did say balls. No, can you seriously not understand?
Not very much. I was going to kind of question him as he was going along, but
I actually tried a show in America. I done one gig. A guy complimented me, approached me after the set, and he goes, man, are you actually Scottish? And, and I said, yes. And he goes, fuck, man, your English is pretty good.
Because we're now talking of Scottish, because Chris Hemsworth, you did Scottish in The Huntsman.
Yeah, well, it was a Celtic vibe. I had a great reviewer tell me that it was the worst Glaswegian accent since The Fat Bastard. I wasn't doing Glaswegian though, so that was in my defence.
It was your Celtic vibe.
It was a Celtic fantasy, Snow White world, Scottish influence kind of accent. So that gives you a whole broad range to do whatever the hell you want. But that, I hear little bits in there.
You get it?
I understood little bits. It was pretty, yeah, it is.
I understood little bits. Compliments are flying in.
I just need a laugh.
I think that's why we die so young in Scotland, because it's just exhausting. It's so much more effort. You need to translate in your head and then go.
Have you performed in Australia, though?
Yes, I've done.
We love you. I swear to God, I love you.
you know, I played Australia. I've not played Scotland, but I played Australia. And by the reaction, I'm amazed that I went over at all.
What do you mean?
I'm just saying, they seem to understand Kevin very well.
Well, we're not in Australia now.
I understand that. And even I'm having trouble with Chris a little bit.
Can you understand me?
I can understand you.
Well, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
We'll talk.
Of course it is.
Yes.
I find there's references as well. You need to change certain references when you perform. Like,
Are you talking to me?
Now, Lily Tomlin, you bring us such a sweet, lovely, funny film, Grandma. It opens
thank
next
you.
Friday, the 11th. And is Grandma quite close to you?
Well, she could be. Yeah, many things about it. I drove my own car.
Never late for work.
Right. No, it's a very funny, interesting, kind of important movie.
So, in broad strokes, what is the story of Grandma?
Well, the story is Grandma's a lesbian poet, feminist lesbian poet who's been. This is not a film that would become a blockbuster like in your terms. I'm not talking to you. And there's a lot of stuff has gone on. She's been in a relationship for 38 years, and her partner has died like a year or so before, or a couple of years. And her granddaughter shows up on her doorstep and has become pregnant and needs an abortion. And so then the story is kind of a road trip. I mean, the grandmother's very cantankerous and ornery and rails against injustice and all that stuff.
It is, but the idea of having a funny, sweet abortion road movie is so unlikely. And yet it is. It's a new genre.
It is. It's kind of a new genre.
Yeah.
It is, never to be repeated. No, I love the film. It's very wonderful.
No, it really is, and
Yeah.
you are terrific at it. This is a little clip, and this is the start of the road trip where there's a problem with the car.
Oh, God, I didn't wake you up again, did I?
No.
Oh, good, so glad. She's already pregnant. Grandma!
Just saying, I see the hormones popping.
No ideas. We're good. Here, give it a try.
Oh, working.
Oh. Nice tunes.
Hey, listen, thanks.
Take it to the shop and get it checked out.
It runs good.
Hey, congratulations.
Now, I don't want to jinx it. It's a terrible thing. You must hate this. But with Grandma,
Yes.
there is that terrible phrase, after buzz, about it, which you must be aware of.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I mean, I've certainly been exposed to it.
Yes. So how do you manage your expectations?
Well, I don't have any expectations, truly. What I would like to do, if I did get nominated and I did win, assuming I'll be there, I would like to have I'd be very humble, of course.
Of course.
And I'd have a box built with you know, they'd wheel the box out, and I would open it up, and there'd be everything else in there, Emmys and Tonys and and what's the other thing that's in there?
Grammys?
Grammy.
Yeah.
Only one Grammy. And so then I would open it, and there'd be a niche prepared in there. And I'd take the Oscar and put it in there. But I don't think
And Jamie Bartler, you've written together for years.
well, Jane is really the writer. I'm not much of a writer.
Is she a bit miffed that you've now wandered off and made a film with somebody else?
No, she's quite pleased. She's quite pleased because it's pretty successful.
But working with people you're close to, like Chris, you and Liam, are you finally going to be in a film together? Your brother, Liam, obviously.
Well, I don't know. We're looking. It'd be nice if the right thing came along. Sure.
Also, I read that you'd found something. You haven't found something.
No. Wow. What have we found? Ron? No.
It's an Abortion Road movie. Two brothers. Who's the father? And now, was he also up for Thor?
He was, yeah. I auditioned and then didn't get the part, and then they auditioned him, and he basically got down to last like 4 people, and then didn't get it, and then I came back in and.
And how was that at home? That's like real sibling rivalry.
Yeah.
That's like, yeah. Was it all right? It must have been a bit weird, a bit awkward.
We still don't talk that much. But we never did. No, it was fine.
Yeah, I don't know whether he's bitter or not, but he did post this picture of his. This is real.
Oh.
This is his dog with a chew toy, which looks familiar.
Oh. Yeah. And the arm is chewed off. Look at that.
Yeah, that hammer was delicious.
It was.
Because Ron Howard, you work with your family like all the time.
Whenever I can. My brother Clint's an actor. My father Rance is still acting in his 80s and working all the time. I love to work with him.
And your mom, sadly, is no longer with us, but she did get a part in, was it Apollo 13?
Apollo 13, she had a really nice role, which almost didn't happen because I got this call from my dad, and he said, you know, I just read the rewrite on Apollo 13. And I said, yeah. And he said, there's a new part in there. I said, yeah, there is. Jim Lovell's mother. I said, yeah, she's got a nice scene. I said, yeah, you know who'd be really good for that? Who do you think, Dad? Your mom. And boy, I don't know. I'd have to audition her. and he said, well, fine. And so my mom was all for that. And she said, I don't want to do it if Ronnie doesn't think I can do it. So I went over to their house and we worked through the scene, and she was great. And we did it in a couple of takes, and I've never been prouder, and she even got written up in the New York Times Review, and it was wound up being a great moment. She played Jim Lovell's mother.
It would have been worse if you hadn't given her the part after the audition. Yeah, this isn't going to work out.
I'll tell you what's really bad. My dad's an actor. I cast him whenever it's appropriate, you know. And here's the call I've had to make to him. Hey, Dad, you know, you did great, but, you know, the movie was a little long. And next would be, am I in it at all? Maybe in the extended DVD cut. So that's a tough call. But he's an old warhorse. He understands.
And Kevin, your dad, because you started so young, your dad was really kind of important in your career.
My dad used to drive me to the gigs because I was too young to perform in the clubs, so they'd like make, as long as I brought along a parent, which is pretty uncool. Having to bring a note in saying that you're all right to go on stage in these comedy clubs. And he used to drive me everywhere, all over Scotland.
But you've been very nice. You've rewarded them handsomely. You gave your parents a lovely trip. Was it the Orient Express you sent them on?
My dad's always had a thing for trains. He always wanted to go on the Orient Express. So for their anniversary a couple of years ago, I got them the trip. And my dad is the only guy who's ever missed the train. They get off at Innsbruck station to send me a text, and he's just still like talking to me on the phone when I've been on trains and going, Dad, I'm on the train, the signal's pretty bad. So he presumes that you cannot send a text from a train. What I mean is I'm driving through like cross country, and so he gets off before the train's due to depart, and he starts sending me this big long text just going, son, we've been wined and dined, I'm gazing at the Tyrolean mountains, and he's done the spell check on Tyrolean. I'm reading this text, I'm kind of filling up, just going, oh, he's really had a good time, and it just goes, shite. And it's meant the train has just left, can you call me? It's a wind-up, so I've ignored it, and then another text came in going, call me, son. So I phoned him, it does the international ringtone, and he's going, oh, I just got off to send that text, your mum's on there, she's got the passports to walk. He's on the Innsbruck station. And I was going, well, you need to go to information and try and explain to somebody. And he goes, but they don't know what I'm saying. I don't speak any German or English. So they just think it's just an excited Scottish guy that's seen the Orient Express. And then eventually he's explained what's happened, and they got in a taxi, and they contacted somebody on the train to pull in at this kind of regional stop, and my dad was a high-speed sort of chase. He managed to catch the train, and he got on, and they get a standing ovation.
Oh, that's cute. Very good. Now, Chris and Ron, your movie, as I was saying to you back there, it's such an epic tale. It's a real beast of a film. In the Heart of the Sea. It opens here on Boxing Day, the day after Christmas.
Yes.
And obviously, it's a Ron Howard film, but this was your baby, Chris. You had this script. So how did this happen?
We had just done Rush, and I had In the Heart of the Sea with Paula Weinstein, brought it to myself and my manager, Will Ward, and we basically were looking for a director, and I think we were in the ADR booth, and you said, if you have anything else you want to do, let me know. And I said, actually, yes, I do. Hand in the script and said, yeah, if you're not sick of me, let's go again. And we did.
But I was saying, I don't have a great work ethic. I think I would have read this script and thought, oh, it's very good, but it sounds really hard to make. Well, I really cannot be arsed.
I actually, you know, there is an ambitious streak that I have and that I follow. And look, this was kind of a life experience making this kind of movie, and it's a sort of a personal adventure. I'm not a very naturally adventuresome person, but the movies take me into these places. I learn a lot that I wouldn't otherwise. And I actually, when I first read it, I sort of thought, well, they're just trying to sort of find a way to kind of reboot Moby Dick, and it is very hard and very challenging, and I didn't realize it was based on real events. So when I did, and I started thinking of it, I said, well, it's not a monster movie. This whale is not like the shark in Jaws. It's not a predator. This is more like King Kong. This is like a force of nature awakened by man, man's greed. And I felt like there were a lot of themes that were contemporary and very relatable, surprisingly relatable, and yet also the big epic adventure story.
But the clip really captures the scale of the film. This is Chris Hemsworth taking on the whale.
Never seen a whale do that.
The line, take the wheel. It's a Ramsel. You were the other end of the line to the format. I said, as I live and breathe, he's mine.
As well. That would be enough. You go home. Thank you very much. That was very good.
That's just a turning point.
Extraordinary.
So is that a real whale?
No, CGI whale. No whales were injured or pestered in the movie.
So that was a model that was made?
It was a complete CGI. You know, look, technology was such a factor in this movie. A lot of things we shot in the way that movies have been made for 100 years. But I wouldn't have tackled this movie if you had to use a giant puppet or something like that, where the audience has to kind of suspend their disbelief.
Yeah.
After seeing Life of Pi, I realized that this technology was there, and that we could make a movie that was totally immersive and let this character have its due. Let it be a living, breathing force.
And for Chris, it must be odd. You hear about all the CGI, and you think CGI my arse. I did all this. You really had to do it. You had to jump and fall and swim and.
It was one of the, I think, the most sort of physically challenging things I'd ever done. I mean, we had to, as you see, all kinds of action and so on, and then navigating the ship and learning to row the whaleboats and so on, and throw harpoons, and then there was the weight loss sort of thing we were all going through.
Oh yeah, this picture's been everywhere. This of you. Who's that?
That's Liam.
And so.
He likes to drink.
But to get down down to that weight. So what are you, you know, I read something, was it 500 calories or something?
We started at one diet and then slowly each week dwindled down to about 500-600 calories by the...
And what is that? Like physical, what are you eating that is 500-600 calories a day?
Like a piece of fish and some lettuce, or if you have like, it's funny, you do all these sort of trade-offs. You'd be like, if I have this piece of chocolate, then I won't be able to have the fish, but then I can have this. And it's all this like crazy kind of insanity which happens.
And of course, Kevin, you can relate to this film because you own a boat, don't you? You own a boat!
Yes. I thought you were going to say, because I've seen Free Willy before. I do have a boat. I'm fully aware of the dangers of the sea, man. I had to make a distress call this summer in Loch Lomond because we get a bag of cans wrapped in the propeller on the boat. We're having a few beers. It was a maiden voyage, and my mate complained that his beers were room temperature. Some other, which is obviously potentially fatal on a boating trip. And my other buddy suggested that we tie the bag of beers onto one of the ropes and throw it off the boat into the water. Great idea. And then we forgot about the beers. We're driving off, and the engine failed. We never knew why. Had to phone up the SOS dude. He came out. He dives under, comes back up, going, "There's a box of Magners and an odd bins bag wrapped in there."
Now, Kevin Bridges, ladies and gentlemen, he has a DVD out now. It's out now.
Yes.
It's called A Whole Different Story.
It is.
And is this the story that you're just finishing?
Yes, just finishing up this.
So there's 11 more dates.
11 more dates to go. And
So don't buy it before you go to see one of those 11 dates.
yeah, you're not supposed to say that, Graham, but yeah, don't buy it before you can. That's how I had to lose weight to fit into the eye.
Oh, you mean Kevon.
It was recorded in Glasgow 2 months ago. So.
Oh, right. And it's very much the story of how your life has changed.
Yes.
With success. Because you live in quite a ritzy area now.
Yes, well, yes. Not quite LA or anything.
No.
I live in Glasgow, but I live in a nicer bit of Glasgow.
Listen, we've got a very quick clip. This is you talking about some of the people you meet in your new neighbourhood.
They call me Mr. Bridges, the kids in my street. I don't feel intimidated physically. I feel intellectually intimidated by the gangs of youth in my street. Mr. Bridges, how are we? How are we, Mr. Bridges? Oh. Well, the family and I sat down to one of your performances on the television over the festive period, Mr. Bridges. A tad coarse in places. However, I would be lying if I said I didn't allow myself a chuckle, Mr. Bridges. I never knew you were going to show a clip or if I wore a different suit.
Now, lots of people have tough gigs. Lots of stand-up comics
Yes.
talk about tough gigs. But you've played prisons, haven't you? Or at least a prison.
Yes. At the start, very tough. Like, these days, you're playing to, like, what's that, 10,000 people, so somebody's going to laugh. But at the start, a prison, that's right, I had a guy stood up. It was a gig for inmates in this prison in Scotland, and a guy stood up about 10 minutes into the show and just went back to his cell. So that's like... Oh, this guy's shite. I'll wait to finish my life sentence. That's right, a gig in a prison.
But no, because Lily Tomlin, you've also done a gig in a prison.
I have many
It's the
times,
place
yeah.
to be.
But yours sounds
the chat show in a prison.
No. Because you had scary times in prison.
Well, they could be construed as scary. I mean, what happened is one time I was playing at a women's prison in California, and they wore regular clothing, so you didn't know who was an inmate or who wasn't, you know. And Jane was with me, my partner, and she's very chatty and gets to talking to everybody, and she was having a long conversation with a woman who killed her boyfriend over a peanut butter sandwich. She found that out toward the end of the conversation, and we had to play for the newcomers who've been in like 15 days or less, and they're just like civilians. And then you play for the hard timers at the end of the night. That's brutal. And then you play for the psychiatric. In the middle of the day, like in a sunroom. I'd stand on the table almost, you know, and try, because there was no stage or anything. And there was a woman sitting there, she's smoking, and then she'd go, all of a sudden, she'd be watching me, listening to me, and then she'd go, and she'd get up and there were 2 doors. It was like a farce. So she'd run out that door, next she'd come back in this door and sit on that side of the house and do the same thing in a few minutes. So anyway, that was mild compared to the hard timers. But there was a young girl with a pleated skirt and brown hair, long, heavy, rich, you know, rich girl's hair, like I feel that people have. And she says, Lily, I'm going to review you for the prison paper. And I said, oh my gosh, well, okay. And she said, don't worry, I'll be kind. And she turned out to be one of the Manson women. And I have her review still in my files.
Oh, was it kind?
No. Not in my book.
Not kind enough.
No, not kind
Why
enough.
were you in prison, Chris Hemsworth?
That's the question that you start the show first.
No, it was research. I did a movie about a guy. It was research.
I'm in for research. Armed research.
Armed research.
Armed research, robbery. Yeah.
Go ahead, do you have a story to tell? Because
No, you go.
I'm still taking, I'm trying to listen to Kevin. And a couple of stories back, it was the story about, I don't even know what the story was about. You were saying, you kept saying Beals. So, what is that?
Beals? Bills?
Beers.
Beers.
Beers?
Oh,
Beers.
Beers. All right, so that was about
That's-
beers? Okay.
That's a bill. Beer.
And then just now when you were talking about playing a prison,
Yes.
you said, and it's I can't imitate it. It's
No, go for
sad. No, I can't. It's like, I'm going to try, but it's going to be
You can
embarrassing.
go through it, Chris, and you can try your Celtic.
And this gay stands up, and I'm thinking, well, you must say a gay person stood up.
Oh, no, it
No,
wasn't
it's
that
a
quite.
guy. I finally got that it was a guy.
A guy. Yeah. One foul away. It was prison. Maybe it was prison gay. Actually, quite a good gig in the prison. I had quite a good show. 'Cause I used to have a routine about... You're looking at me the way the dog looks at me.
Yeah. Is he saying out? Is he saying treat?
I done this joke about how, like, attempted murder, you get a lesser sentence than you get for murder, but you still tried it. Just because you weren't very good at it. In my opinion, you should get double the sentence for making an arse of it, right? So I done this joke, and there's these murderers pointing over at attempted murderers going, that's you, mate, that's you. It was a strange thing. So what did I just say there, Chris, if you just want to... Murders, people like when...
Murders. Did you get that?
Murders. No, I didn't get that. Murders? That was like muchos?
Murder.
Murder.
You are.
There.
You are.
Aye.
Oh, my
Why
God.
were you in prison, Chris?
And,
Well, I got to prison. So, no, I was researching a film, and we had to go in and basically see what the inside of a prison looked like and speak with prisoners who were willing to talk to us. And I walked in, and I remember thinking, and I had my ponytail, long blonde hair, and I had a hat on, and the wardens...
Lily knows where this is going.
So I spent the night. And the warden said, you can't wear your hat and so on. And I said, OK, no worries. And I thought, oh, shit, they're going to know who I am. Then I thought, oh, no, they don't get Thor in here. They're not going to watch movies. And I don't know, I've never been to prison. So I assumed that. And the moment I started walking through the cells, and it's like H block of this thing, and it's all just kind of, you know, cell upon cell and so on. And I just start getting heckled. And it's like, yo, Thor's here, man. Yo, Thor's here, Thor! Where's your hammer, man? And I'm trying to, like, blend in and, you know, research. And just getting heckled left and right about, you know, come spend some time in my cell, baby! I got my long hair.
You'll do.
Yeah. Anyways, that was, it wasn't a whole lot of research, more just kind of...
Survived it.
Yeah.
And listen, very, very big, we're running out of time. Ron, we must mention where we found you first. Happy Days. Because you weren't in it for the whole time. It ran for years, but you
Well, I stayed with it through my contract, but by then I knew I wanted to be a director, and so I left to pursue that full time at the end of my contract, which was 7.5 seasons.
Wow.
Oh, God.
But it ran for, what, 9 years?
Went on another 4 seasons after that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what's odd now is that one of the things it's really remembered for is coming up with that phrase, jumping the shark.
Yes.
So
yes.
if people don't know, can you explain the jumping the shark episode?
Well, you know, the show had gone and become really a, #1 hit, very successful, and along with it, there's sort of a culture around it and the sort of the mythology of the Fonzie character. That started off as kind of a normal guy, and he kept getting more and more powerful, tapping on jukeboxes, snapping his fingers, girls would run, everything would happen. But audiences loved it, and it was really working. And so finally they decided that they would start off season, I think it was probably season 5 or 6, with the biggest thing ever. Fonzie was going to water ski and jump over a white shark. And, so he had Henry out in his jacket. I loved it because I was driving the boat. I thought driving the boat was fun. And Henry happened to be a very good skier and loved skiing. We did it. But people tended to think years later that was the point where the show had kind of gone beyond the pale. And so then they started saying, that was the happy days. Is jumping the shark was the moment where it just sort of reached its high and sort of came down. The reality is it remained a #1 show for a long time, and after I left the show, it was a top ratings getter. And so I don't know how accurate it was, but Jump the Shark.
No, it is awful where a TV show just drags on for series after series. I think that's really bored to death. Time for music. We're going all Christmassy now. This is the first little bit of Christmas on the show. This year, best-selling classical boy band Blake have done something really special to perform a beautiful new version of Christmas song. They've teamed up with a musical legend. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Blake and Dame Shirley Bassey.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, cat's nipping at your nose, Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe helps to make the season bright. Tiny tots with their eyes all aglow will find it hard to sleep tonight. They know that Santa's on his way. He's on his way. He's loaded lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh. Oh, that's right. And every mother's child is gonna spy to see if reindeer really know how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you. They know that Santa's on his way. He's loaded lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh. And every mother's child is gonna spy to see if reindeer really know how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry
Sit inside, Kevin. No, go round. You'll blend in with the crowd. Sit in there with the boys. Oh, thank you very much. Now that's Dame Shirley Bassey. You'll now greet you all.
Lovely to meet you.
Very good.
And Lily.
Okay, Shirley, marvellous. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. And Blake, I know there's a Humphrey.
Humphrey.
And I know there's an Ollie.
I'm Ollie.
And you're a... Steve. It's a bit dull after the Ollie and the Humphrey. Steve. And Dame Shirley Bassey. And now, you're Dame Shirley Bassey, but to bring this drink, thank you very much. Can I just say, I don't mean to slag off the other guests, but no one else brought drinks. This is your cocktail, Dame Shirley.
It's a cocktail named after me. The Dame Shirley Bassey cocktail with champagne, vodka, and raspberries.
I think you said rat poison. I was like, that's quite a cocktail, yeah.
We had it.
With a Mex chaser.
And real gold.
Real, of course, with your finger.
Yes.
Gold finger. Our album launch,
real
so we
gold.
thought we should have a drink,
Yes,
appropriate, and they created this.
Can we drink now?
Yes, yeah. Can we drink now? Now can we drink? Yeah, there you go.
Thank you. Sorry, audience, it's only... Sorry. You can have a sip of mine if you like.
If you're quick. Now that single is out on the 18th of December, and this is special because if God was good and it did become a Christmas number one, it would be your very first Christmas number one?
Yes. I've never done a Christmas carol, ever.
Have you never done a Christmas song before?
No. It's my very first. So
You've missed a trick there.
the record company, for some unknown reason, every time I said, please, can I do a Christmas album? And even when I had number one and number two in the hit parade, and they said, no. And I think they were afraid because of the voice. They couldn't imagine me singing Silent Night. Silent Night!
But here's also what's special. You are both raising money for charity with this record, aren't you?
Yeah, we are.
So, Blake, who are you raising money for?
Well, we're ambassadors of Variety, the children's charity, which is an amazing charity, and Dame Shirley is Noah's Ark in Cardiff, which
Yes, my charity, Children's Hospital in Cardiff. They have room for parents to stay overnight.
Oh, that's really special. Well, good luck with the single. I really hope that you're going to be number one. Hey, before we go, it's time for a visit to the big red chair. Who's there? Hello, sir.
Hi there.
Hi, what's your name?
It's Ricardo.
Okay, what do you do?
I am a facilitator in creative thinking and innovation.
Let's try another one. Who's this? Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Joe Popham.
Joe Popham. Okay. That is your first name and surname, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Otherwise, it's a really weird name. Joe Popham Smith. So, Joe Popham, where are you from, Joe Popham?
Bookham in Surrey.
Joe Popham of Bookham. What do you do?
Well, primarily a mum of 3 teenage kids, but also cabin crew, or flight attendant for the Americans.
Uh-oh. Does your story involve anyone on our couch?
Nope.
Okay, good, let's go. On to go with this story.
So, quite a few years ago, back in the 90s, we were on a flight and we were told we were expecting a VIP passenger. And the VIP's manager came on board into the premier cabin, obviously, and to prepare the seat for his employer. And with that, we were told it was Michael Jackson's manager. So he brought on all his things, was getting everything ready for him, and he had the red Thriller jacket. And he hung it up in the first class wardrobe, and we were told to make sure to look after it and that nobody unauthorised came on board. So when he went off, I was always a bit naughty, and I thought it'd be really fun to get the jacket out of the wardrobe. And as I was dancing around the cabin doing the Thriller dance, the manager and Michael Jackson came back on board earlier than expected and caught me dancing around the cabin in the red Thriller jacket.
That is it for tonight. Please, a huge thank you to my guests, Blake and Dame Shirley Bassey, Kevin Bridges, Ron Howard, Chris Hemsworth, Lily Tomlin. Join me next week with pop phenomenon Sia, acting great Kurt Russell, Oscar-winning director Quentin Tarantino, and comedy superstar Tina Fey. I'll see you then. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.